Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about finding surface area of prisms, and we're going to mainly be focusing on two types of prisms, and those are going to be rectangular and triangular prisms, which in general they're just three-dimensional shapes. Whenever you see SA, that's going to stand for surface area. So just when you see that, instead of writing out surface area, I might just write SA. And with volume, which we talked about yesterday, volume, your labels are always going to be cubic, meaning it might be centimeters, and you put a 3 on top. To find surface area, we aren't going to use the cubes because we're talking about area, and in previous lessons we talked about area being squared units. So that's the type of label we're going to use for this lesson, is squared units. So surface area, real world examples might include if you're wrapping a present, how much wrapping paper you would need to cover a box. We might be talking about painting a room and figuring out how much paint you need to cover all of the walls. It could be a box of crackers or cereal or any type of food, a Kleenex box, anything where you're trying to figure out how much cardboard you need to make the box. All of those are examples of surface area. So now we're going to jump into it a little bit more. So we're first looking at a box, and that's called a rectangular prism. And the reason it is called a rectangular prism is because when you look at it, the base of it, it's in the shape of a rectangle. So that hence the name rectangular prism. When we are breaking this apart and trying to find the surface area, literally that means surface area, the area of the surfaces. When we break a rectangular prism apart, you end up having 6 faces, which really just means 6 sides. So picture holding a Kleenex box. If you're holding it on the sides, you have a left side and a right side. So when we're trying to find the surface area, that's going to automatically give us 2 of the faces right away. So we're focusing on this green box here. When I look at that, I know the base of that box is going to be 3, and I know the height has to match up with the height here and here. So my height is 4. Now we have a rectangle, so to find the left side and the right side, we're going to take 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So if the left side is 12, the right side is also going to be 12. So that's the area of both sides there. And we're going to use that to figure out our total surface area. But that's only 2 of the faces. So now we're going to look at the front and the back. So just like looking at the sides, we also have a front and the back of the box. So if I'm focusing on the front, I've got this front box here. Now my length is 10 and my height is 4. So we've got 10 times 4, which equals 40. If the front of the box is 40, the back of the box is also 40. And now we've got one last part of it. So now I have 4 different faces. I need 6. So now I'm going to focus on the top and the bottom. So I think it's easiest to find the bottom. So if we're looking at the bottom here, I've got a 3 by 10 rectangle. So if I take 3 times 10, that's going to give me 30. If the bottom is 30, the top is also 30. So those are my last two measurements. So to find the total surface area, I'm going to add all of those together. So if I take 30 plus 30 plus 40 plus 40 plus 12 plus 12, 30 plus 30 is 60. 60 plus 40 is 100. 100 plus 40 is 140. 140 plus 12 is 152. And 152 plus 12 is 164. And again, when we're labeling our answers, because it's area, we're going to leave it as inches squared. So my final answer for this first one would be 164 inches squared. That leaves us with this very last one here, and this is a triangular prism because, as you can see, we've got two triangles, and those are connected by 3 rectangles. So we've got 5 total shapes. So the triangle is going to be the easiest one to just kind of pick apart. So if we're looking at the triangles here, we're looking kind of at this front. So just a reminder, to find the area of a triangle, you're taking 1/2 base times height. In this case, my base is 4. So 1/2 of 4 times. The height is not 7. 7 is the length of one of the sides. The height is actually 6 because it's the distance from the top straight down to the base. So if I've got 1/2 of 4, that gives me 2. And then 2 times 6 is 12. So the area of one triangle is 12. If the area of the front triangle is 12, the area of the back triangle is also 12. And now I'm going to start figuring out the areas of the various rectangles. So however you want to pick them apart is fine. I usually think the bottom is usually the easiest. So if we're looking at this bottom rectangle, I've got side lengths of 4 and 12. So 4 times 12 is 48. So the bottom rectangle is 48 units squared. If I'm looking now for the other triangles, I've got, or rectangles, excuse me, I've got one along this back side here that looks kind of like that. So over here, and that length is 7 by 12. When I do 7 times 12, that ends up giving me 84. And now to figure out my very last one, I'm going to look at the other side, which ends up giving me this rectangle right here. And that is the exact same as the other one. That's not how it's always going to work, but in this case it does. So again, 7 times 12 equals 84. So now if I'm trying to figure out the total surface area, I'm going to take 12 plus 12 plus 48 plus 84 plus 84. 12 plus 12 is 24. When I do 84 plus 84, that ends up giving me 168. And then I'm still adding the 48 to that. So then 168 plus 48 plus 24. I get 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So my total surface area is going to be 240 centimeters squared. And that's how you find the surface area of a prism. So to recap, finding the surface area is basically finding the area of all of the surfaces of the shape. And my best recommendation for you would be to break apart the shape and find the area of each individual shape and add them up at the end. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.